Welcome back to Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, where last time we have found ourselves in the dark city of Komarak, the city of the Dark Elves, the Drukhari, in the Webway, which is sort of like an interdimensional space that isn't the warp. Therefore, was supposed to be safer than the warp, but Drukhari are there and other things. So it really ain't. We had just clambered our way out of a corpse pile, and we started looking around our surroundings. We had nothing on us. We came across this beggar who had basically looted our boots, because they thought I was dead, we asked for him back. And he was like, no, and attempted to stab us, and we just reflexively killed them. And got our boots back, as well as his gun, which was a surprisingly good gun. We started kind of searching among the corpses and stuff, finding items, like a med kit and stuff. Few things we had failed the skill check on and found nothing. We eventually kind of clambered our way up this ramp that led where we saw this shortcut scene of two beggars kind of looking at this group of Cabal Drukhari. One kind of ran forward trying to get past them and got immediately killed, while the other one was like, "You idiot, you gotta sneak past them," pointed to a large chain. So we used that large chain to sneak past them, and we looted a motorbike on the way. Well, it wasn't really a motorbike, but a speeder bike, Drukhari speeder bike. We came to this little area of people called Shriekers, who seemed friendly enough. They weren't attacking us, and we went into this area called the Pit, I want to say, where these Shriekers were hanging out, and they were led by a Slith, a sort of snake-like alien named Malice. Malice had a servant. When we approached them asking for healing, they completely ignored us. So we kind of looked around the area, and we found a thing that could be fixed. I honestly have no idea what it was. So we did that. We fixed it. We got multiple attempts to do it. And we also found this dead body that we took a augmetic from for some reason. I don't know why. It was just, it was just an interactable thing with a skill test. Then we went back to Malice and said, hey, I fixed whatever the fuck that thing was, and he was get me some healing, and it's why the fuck should I? And then we passed out in front of him, and then Malice was like, alright, get this person some healing. They were at least useful. We awoke to find ourselves kind of healed, mostly, except for a little worm that we got in our head that is non at our brain, and is gonna die and release poisons. And once it's done releasing those poisons, we're gonna die. Or a mind worm or something like that. But he also kind of gave us the lowdown on where we were. We're basically in the chasm, which is kind of like the cesspits of the Dark City. They throw everything that they don't want down here. Corpses, trash, um, prisoners. The people that survive are kind of forced to like participate in the arena for the Drakari's like entertainment, or like barely eke out a living of some sort, um, at the whims of the Drakari. And yeah. We asked him like, well, how can I get rid of this mind worm? And it's like, I could probably get rid of it for you, but you're gonna have to do something for me first. And he told us that he wanted us to kill this human known as the Commissar, who is the leader of some resistance group. Um, and I was like, well, what do I get out of helping you? And he's like, you get to live. I'm like, all right, fair enough. Um, and yeah, so we accepted that. And then we left the pit. And yeah, things had changed. A lot more lootable items, and we could move around a bit more. We activated a little console that lowered a raised platform so that we could walk across it. Um, and yeah, we started looking around. There were a bunch of beggars stabbing each other as we kind of explored. But like, yeah, we found a portal to an arena. We found like the anatomical opera, which we didn't enter. There was a guy named Rack standing outside of it. And he was basically like, don't go in. As well as a portal that took us back down to the lower level. As this was all kind of like one big staircase circling a spire, basically. And yeah. We had to find the Commissar in like the mangled something, the mangled pit or whatever. Which Malice's people had kind of drove them off into. So we went down there, and it was like kind of like this weird dimensional space. And we found Abelard kind of in this like closed off area, kind of hallucinating about his now dead wife, Kintheria. But we managed to snap him out of it, and we learned that he had whatever the Drukhari had done to him as part of their torture. Like they had like quite literally aged him a couple years, perhaps even upwards of like a decade or two. And yeah, we kind of were like, all right, we'll try finding a way to de-ageify you. As we clamber our way through stuff, and then we found the Commissar's people, and Argento was there with them, and you know, she had basically joined up with the Commissar and this resistance group, acting as like a proselytizer, recruiting for him, and you know, obviously joined back up with us. Then we spoke to the Commissar. And yeah, he basically told us that he was captured by the Drukhari on some planet in the Calixis sector. And yeah, he was continuing the fight against the enemies of humanity, even while in captivity. And he gave us his escape plan. And yeah, we kind of noticed that, like, you know, all of these bits to this plan are kind of individually good, but put together are kind of like, yikers. He told us about how he had sent this sergeant, Vigastes, to commandeer a ship, basically, from the Drukhari port, which was supposed to be empty. Hadn't heard back from them, which is suspect. And yeah, we... they had like weapons and supplies, and you know, one of the options was like, got all these supplies and stuff in Drukhari space, You're not captive or being tortured. So that's a bit suspicious. We didn't pick that option. We're like, thanks for fighting the good fight. Yeah. So we basically told him, hey, this guy named Malice wants us to kill you, but I don't really want to do that. And he's like, okay, cool. Kill Malice instead. I'm like, sure. With Abelard and Argenta now with us, we went back to Malice's pit, confronted him, moided him. 2 rounds into the combat, the Commissar and his allies showed up. Correct ship, but by that point we had already mostly killed everything. Afterwards, there was like this portal in the corner of Malice's pit that everybody went through and was basically supposed to lead to this dock where Sergeant Vigastes was. And he was like, all right, everybody go in. And he's like, I'll be right behind you. I'm like, this is so obviously a trap. But gotta go in. So we went in, and it was obviously a trap. It led to the arena. And it was revealed that the Commissar has been leading humans specifically towards the arena and betraying them for quite some time. And that's basically how he's been making his living down here in the chasm. Now, finding ourselves in the arena, the Commissar went back through the portal and kind of cut us off. There was also like this guy, I don't really know who he was, arena champion or something. It was being very threatening and kind of explained just the whole deal. We had to fight against 2 Chimera beasts in the arena. And we also saw that Marazai, the Drukari, who had originally captured us and tried presenting us to like one of the Archons as like, this is an important person that we can leverage in our war against humanity. But they were like, yeah, fuck you, Marazai, and threw him into the chasm as well, I guess. And then we also saw this big old dude kind of be released, walk down into the arena. And then we had our little fights. After we killed the Chimera Beast, we had to then fight the other humans, because they turned against us as like, aren't going to be satisfied and let us go if it's just this many survivors from that fight. And I'm like, well, shit. So then we had to kill them. And then after that fight was over, we kind of saw that the Marazai team had won, and the Flesh Gorger, I think is what they were calling the big ass human dude, who's most likely a space marine, like a captive space marine. Just basically soloed a monster, like a big old mechanical monster, and was like kind of eating its corpse. I'm like, wow, that's hardcore. We were let go from the arena until the next battle. The Drukari was satisfied. And as we were exiting, Argenta kind of noticed Sergeant Vigastes impaled up on a like floating device thing, and like a stand that some of the Drukari were watching from, and she was like, we have to save them. And there was an iconoclast option to just like shoot the thing down and get him, which we did. We then exited that. The Commissar had made himself at home in Malice's pit. We had learned that Malice was indeed not actually dead. He just captured him. We couldn't expose him because there were a bunch of loyalists of his, indoctrinated loyalists of his, right around there. So we couldn't call him out on his shit, but we learned that he's not actually a commissar. He's just some some random lowlife who got drafted on his planet and forced into war, and he actually, like, fighting against some Drukhari, like, he actually killed his commissar, stole his outfit, and then got captured by the Drukhari. And he's been posing as one since. But yeah, real bastard, that guy. And yeah, we also met the Harlequin again, who we learned his name is like Nocturne of Oblivion. He poemed at us again, but apparently the Iconoclast characters are apparently able to understand him, which is interesting. He basically informed us that we needed to see that we basically need to get that mind worm treated, and that we could find a healer in the anatomical opera, basically. And yeah, we then started exploring again. Found Irlet kind of being forced by Drukhari to like torture a dude. And we brought a swift end to that. And yeah, she apologized for apparently betraying the group, as she had sold us out to the Drukhari in a lapse of faith, basically, as she would later tell us. We also found Pascal, who some dude, I forgot what his name was, starts with a T, Theranzia or something like that, had messed with Pascal's augmetics, putting some xenotech in there, and he was like, no. Yeah, we told him to, like, push through until we can get out of here, at which point we'll deal with that Xeno heresy tech. And then we went to the pit and found the commissar again, spoke to him, yada yada yada. And that was also apparently a safe space as well. So we kind of talked with the rest of the group. Had a moment of Irlet, where she explained why she do what she do, and like, yeah, lapse of faith after she saw the piece of crudorak in our ship quarters from Theodora. And yeah, she was not expecting to get captured and taken to the Dark City, so that was unintended. But she did also tell us that she came upon Achilles Scalander giving information to Marizai as well, and she kind of killed Achilles as well. And then we spoke more privately as we were about to leave, and she kind of gave us a bit more details about that, as well as asked for like our forgiveness. I'm like, I forgive you. You're my brother's friend. And we learned that she apparently has lost the ability to meditate. And we're like, well, I'd give you a hug, but I know you don't like physical contact with humans. So instead, I can sit alongside you in silence while you try to meditate, so that maybe the company kind of eases your mind a bit. And she's like, I would like that. And then she meditated, fade to black, fade back in, she's gone. And that's pretty much where we left off. A lot happened last time. And Abelard's doing fine. Bent is over here now. Okay. Sergeant Vigastes, the guy we rescued. Leaning heavily on an astonishingly battered lasgun held together by a long history of field repairs in Providence, Sergeant Vigastes glares daggers at the commissar with clenched teeth. Sergeant himself looks much like his weapon. The horrible wounds on his arms and chest have been hastily stitched up and tightly wrapped in bandages, soaked through with now dried blood. That bloody rotter. Now he's using me as a new symbol for his sham tales. Brave sergeant who escaped the Xenos' clutches. The new guys stand there gawking, eating up every word, and all I can do is grit my teeth and think about how many people just like them, just like us, did the same and wound up butchered. I would take being impaled on stakes over this torture any day. Not allow what befell you and your people to ever happen again. He will receive his due punishment, Sergeant. You can be certain of that. You survived. Comrade, that is no small feat. You should take some solace in that. The way to stop it from happening again is to destroy that traitor. You must answer for everything he's done. In any case, your ladyship, I'm grateful to you and Sister Argenta for saving my life. I hope one day to repay you for taking pity on a man who was as good as dead. How did you end up in Comarag? I served on a frigate, the Watchman of the Abyss. Got captured by a Drukhari boarding party. Took me to Comarag and threw me aboard one of their gondolas bound to who knows where. With the last of my strength, I grabbed the pilot and jumped down into the chasm. Xenos' body cushioned my fall, so somehow I survived. That's where the commissar found me, before betraying me and sending me to die in the arena. I swear to you, I knew not what I was condemning you to. Sister, I'll be honest with you. When I was there, being skewered on spikes like a bug, I cursed your name too, more than once. But when you were pulling me off those spikes, one look at your face was enough to know that you'd been just as much a victim of that sick man's lies as the rest of us. I don't blame you. Tell me about the commissar's portrayal. How did you end up in the arena? I don't know if he's a real commissar or not. He's not. But he's an exceptional liar and a sadist. His method was simple. Find people on the streets of the chasm, give them hope that there was a way out of this place, then recruit them to his resistance. A few stirring speeches, food, shelter, a beat-up lasgun, that's all it took for us gullible simpletons to believe we could escape Comarag. Once he had found enough volunteers, the commissar sent me and the others on a special mission to capture a ship for our escape. By an incredible stroke of luck, he got a hold of a portal that conveniently led straight to the docks. That creep. I still remember seeing the smug smile on his face as I entered the portal. As you may have figured, the portal didn't exactly lead to the vessel of our salvation. We were just cattle for his Drukhari cronies, and our misery and shock at having been betrayed was like a tasty snack for them. We fought back the best we could, but Sergeant falls silent. Who tended to your injuries? Sister Argenta offered me first aid. The rest was done by some rookie who barely knew how to stitch. Commissar turned it into a show of him giving his last stimulant to save a hero of the Imperium. Scumbag. Vigastes spits on the floor and immediately lets out a wet cough. We'll get out of here. We'll dress your wounds properly. Medicaid facility on my ship is second to none. He chuckles mirthlessly. When we get out, you say. I've heard that one before. That it's possible to escape this place. I believed it, and this is the result. Forgive me, your ladyship, but I can't seem to muster enough optimism right now. Why don't you kill the commissar yourself? Lasguns can be used for purposes other than a makeshift crutch. Just look at me, your ladyship. I have holes in my arms. My legs can't support my weight. If not for these wounds, that freak would already have a pretty new hole in his head. It's not the dying I'm afraid of, mind you. It's missing the mark. Good luck, Sergeant. Regastes nods, leans on his battered las gun, and goes back to glaring in the commissar's direction. Mistress, could you spare the last few drops of your stimulant? Even if I die here, I'll die fighting. Oh, your light's over there now. No longer disappeared. Game froze a bit, I said. Sylph may have been gravely maimed, but his gaze remains proud, piercing, and malicious. Find a way to escape Cormorant. Find the Maestro Flesh. Comrades, salute the Rogue Trader. Need new equipment. Oh, shit. We actually can get new equipment here. Ranger armor. Ooh. Sharpie shooter boots. Whenever the wearer performs a single shot ranged attack from any cover, this attack gains plus awareness divided by 4 armor penetration. Each time the wearer dodges a melee attack, they gain plus 5 plus agility bonus % critical hit chance until the end of their next turn. Stacks. Moves 1 trauma. Oh, plus Lorizinos divided by 3 wounds. Moves bleeding, burning, and toxin. Heals 1 injury. If the character has a combat Medicaid talents, the amount of restored wounds will be increased by the bonuses provided by these talents. Okay. Combat pleasure. Plus 15 perception, and all damage both dealt or suffered by the user increases the user's crit chance by 10% for each instance of damage. Only used grenades. Serrated Glimmer Steel Blade. Each successful attack with this weapon increases the bleeding effect it inflicts by plus 3. Unique ones. You can take something from our stocks. Consider my show of gratitude for disposing of malice. %, dodge against non-Aldari enemies. He's in melee the most. Hands of offense. I'm just increased by psi. She also has a trophy las gun. The exploder. Okay. I'm over here for some reason now. Well, the next fight will be my luck.
You came back from the dark, Elentark, unharmed.
Though Irileth's sharp features remain the same, the deep shadows around her eyes and her listless gaze give her the appearance of a living corpse. Gardari looks withered, haunted, despondent, but when you approach, the relentlessness in her eyes is replaced with a faint glimmer of hope. More trials to come.
So says a butterfly struggling in the dark city's web. I will be close, Elentark, and I will support you in the coming trials, if you choose to let me.
I shall. Okay. Alright, we are still missing Cassia. And a bunch of resistance dudes.
In this tapestry of a world, I am the rogue thread.
It's my family. That dude's supposed to be dead.
Curiosity sings in my veins.
Hmm? Oh.
There will be no peace in my wake.
Meet. The master ordered that you be let through. When you approach, a few augmetics spring to life inside the monster's bulk. An injector hisses, filling its blood with compounds that cause its veins to bulge and its muscles to swell and twitch spasmodically. What kind of creature are you? The monster snorts and puffs out its massive chest. I am an Akathist, servant of Master Tervantius, his meat driver. What's an Akathist? An augmented warrior is called a Rak because the homunculus invades his nature like a conqueror, wrecks the mundanity, and creates perfection from whatever is left. An amethyst is the superior among the racks, as well as the strongest and the most frightening. What offenses earned you this hideous transformation? No offenses. Labors. I toiled to be granted this honor. I begged for it, and I received it. It's the only way to survive in a frightening place like this, but yeah, my sympathy, nevertheless. It's too cruel to ask to be transformed into such an abomination. Sensible way of doing things, where those of wisdom and high status remold their inferiors to suit their needs. Yeah, my sympathy. It is the weak who need sympathy. I am not weak. The roar is magnified by the echo inside the helm and hurts your ears. You must have been very weak, given that you opted for an augmentation of such magnitude. Oh, we can so totally provoke this guy. I am not weak. I am strong. The injector system clicks as it drives pistons into the giant's body and responds with a blind howl of unadulterated rage. The brute lunges, but its strike does not startle you. Well, Hex Rifle. Rax macrosteroidal gland. Gland capable of injecting the body with macrosteroids, causing rapid bone and muscle growth. Well, he was easy to provoke. Anatomical opera. Fucking falls over. It was a bit framey from loading in, so it looked a bit silly. Off cop. This is fine. Death throws. Ravor. The lamps emit rays that hound your pupils, burning and biting them like angry snakes made of light. Oh, these are like spirits. And interact with them. Through the bars of the grate you are walking on, you see a bottomless abyss. It beckons you to jump in, and promises an embrace softer than any feather bed in the world.
Patience. Oh, my nerves are frayed.
The rebellious steps are trying to buck you off to make you lose your footing and break your neck. Thick curtain shoves you away. It is surprisingly strong for a lifeless piece of fabric. What's going on over here? The corpse hanging from the structure turns its blade face to you with a crack and snickers. Instruction? Oops. Adelthrad. I don't see Adelthrad.
Oh, what lies beyond?
The creature in front of you is a patchwork of skins. Of skins stuffed with darkness, corruption, and sharp objects. Staring at you with its scalpel eyes, it grumpily remarks, "Such a disobedient specimen. Still not dead. An anomaly." Its foul, corrupt thoughts reach out to you, groping at your face. "I need help. But I see you'll soon become a very obedient specimen. Convulsive spasms, hysterical reactions. Come here." The creature pokes you in the chest, its triangular fingernail easily penetrating your skin. A strange sound throbs at the edge of your awareness. A sound similar to your own scream. Ah, yes. Oh. A grotesque spider-like figure looms over you. Its limbs wave frantically, chittering and clicking as they rip something apart, then stitch it back together. And you realize its canvas is your flesh. The Xenos' gaze is indifferent, and his low voice echoes through the room. "The sample has been extracted. Specimen is alive, body and mind expected to function within normal parameters, monkey." Examine the Xenos. There is something fundamentally wrong with the Xenos' silhouette and its twitchy, abrupt movements, and it sets your mind reeling in disgust. Each of its mechanical tool appendages seems designed to be as sickening and horrifying as possible. "What happened to me?" "The control worm in your nervous system detected my proximity. It signaled it was dying by injecting a lethal dose of hallucinogenic euphoriants into your bloodstream. A resourceful individual. Thing in my head is your pet?" Dracaria holds up the pale maggot, the same one you saw in Marazai's hands. As you watch, the tool appendages perform a swift dissection. The maggot's flesh bursts under the scalpel-like claw and blossoms into a disgusting, slimy flower. The Xenos' slow manner of speaking creates an unnerving dissonance with the frantic movements of his limbs. "I grew this specimen specifically for you, monkey. During your interrogation, it intoxicated your feeble senses to limit unnecessary resistance. What a curious experiment it was. I usually extract control worms from specimens posthumously. You possess some degree of bodily fortitude." Did a poor job training your pet if I was able to shake off its influence. With a gurgling sound, the Xeno slowly yet steadily moves his sharp finger to your eye, closer and closer, almost touching, then stops with a sigh. "Not now. Perhaps later." You eviscerate everything you lay your hands on. "Evisceration is one aspect of my most respected art." His scalpel fingers scrape together with a hushed metallic shriek. Recompense, please." The Monculus lets out a laugh of contempt. "Recompense? You brazen scrap of flawed flesh. I did you an honor by lowering myself to interacting with your trivial organics branded by inferiority. You Tervantius?" You are absolutely correct, specimen. I am Tervantius, the mechanator, homunculus, and the conductor of this place that staggers the imagination and soul, my anatomical opera. What do I owe you now? You will serve me. Such is life in the spires. The Urbanian urged me to pay attention to your allegedly extremely gifted self-specimen. Let us see if you make a good tool. Same as you, little moth. Xenos points a mangled limb towards Earlet. Unless, of course, the darkness of Cormorag burns you as fast as the others. Earlet flinches. What does this mean, homunculus? Who knows, Adriani? Who knows? Xenos makes a chuckling sound. What exactly did the Arbanian tell you about me? The Xenos lets out a strange sound that almost resembles a scoff. This information should not burden your undeveloped mind. The Arbanian told me enough to give you the chance to enter my anatomical opera. That is all you need to know. You, Jakari, would do business with a human, remarkably open-minded. Do business? The homunculus looks puzzled. I will do no business with you. I will use you. You survived a battle in the arena, which means you have uncommon parameters for your kind. You are a lesser organism, true, but the towering heights of my wisdom make it difficult to distinguish between your inferiority and the inferiority of most of my kin. What do you want from me? You will return to the arena of the Fatal Thirst. You will kill a few of the witches, fosterlings for me. You might even spill the blood of one of the blood-stained proselytes. The homunculus looks past you as he delivers his imperious speech. They are long overdue a small lesson in humility. They have forgotten their place. They lack respect. They do not appreciate my work. They fail to recognize my authority. Still staring into the distance, he continues to list his grievances with maniacal thoroughness. What will I get out of this? Will you coerce me as you do everyone else? Coercion will be more than enough. You disobey, I will turn you into material for my creations, ensure that you feel and are aware of every manipulation performed on your flesh. But if you do what I tell you to do, I will let you live for a while longer. Cooperation will increase your odds of survival. As long as you continue to be of use, I will maintain your organic parts, and perhaps even let you play with some of my less significant samples. Choke on your own acre, inhuman. I will not be complicit in your foul schemes. I do not serve enemies of humanity, but I never turn down the opportunity to kill a few Xenos. I am afraid you do not realize with whom you are dealing. I am not a contract killer. I employ contract killers. As a serve you, if it helps me make my escape. I employ contract killers. Sharp claw touches your chin, pierces your skin, finds an imperceptibly thin nerve, and your body convulses in pain. This response is unacceptable. Focus, monkey, or I will make you into either a rack or a divan on which I host orgies. You will be far more useful in either of those forms. An inaudible yet deafening sound invades your mind. Your eardrums are ready to burst. The only sound you can hear is the Xenos' limbs chittering in his ice-cold voice. Abandon any illusion of choice. You will do my will, and if you stop resisting and start behaving like a good specimen, you may eventually receive my help in escaping Cormorag. You hear a shout and the sound of someone moving behind you, but the homunculus points his claws directly at your eyes, and all goes quiet. The monster turns his gaze on your companions. Intervening would be inadvisable, servants. The specimen and I are having conversation. Endure. Are you trying to be resilient? Xenos' smile grows wider. Do you wish to put my talents to the test? You have not the slightest understanding of who stands before you. I am the choir master of agony. A second claw, this one tipped with a thin and impossibly sharp needle, pierces your forehead, slightly above the bridge of your nose, reaching through bone as easily as through air. For a few moments, the needle wanders inside your brain, causing strange sensations throughout your body, and then feel as if the bones of your skull have begun to contract, crushing your spasm-ridden brain from all sides like an ever-shrinking cage. The world becomes a swimming blur obscured by a veil of tears, and and you hear a strange ringing from somewhere far away, most likely your drawn-out scream. All right. Good specimen. He pulls his claw out of your flesh, and you notice a heavy drop of blood hanging from it. Very responsive to pain stimuli. Obedience will be rewarded. Take your crude gear with you. Abhor such technological banality, but a creature as undeveloped as you may find it of use. You hear one of the joints in Tervantius' arms click. As for your task, Abus and his blood-stained proselytes are here right now, in my anatomical opera. Go and look at the ones who will be your executioners when the time comes for you to die. Blech. Oh shit, it's all my gear. Nice. Yoink. The sheer primitiveness of your technologies. Go, specimen. Deliver Tervantius' message of blood to the arena witches. The homunculus gestures imperiously at the exit. I want to know more about you and your craft. I'm not in the habit of conversing with specimens, but if it increases your motivation to serve, what is your craft? An absurd question, befitting your small-minded kind. The homunculi are artists of anguish and the masters of flesh, the delvers into unexplored sources of pain, the greatest among their people. My head holds a brilliant intellect. My hands command power over life and death. My body is the pinnacle of surgical discipline. Our minds hold the knowledge of hundreds of generations. Are you aware of the beautiful variety of essences that can be extracted from the psychic energy of a dying sentient creature? Of the ways shades of torment and methods of termination alter an essence's properties? This is the great alchemy of death and transformation. Am I to understand that the most fearsome Drakari warriors are created by artisans such as you? Without a doubt. Even the most skilled witches and mighty Kabalites are outstripped by the pure destructiveness of our genius. Yet I long ago rose above the building of commonplace battle beasts. The monstrosities I create are unique. My last specimen, the Katonos, has surpassed every trifle ever made by my rivals. I fed it elite warriors till it escaped and hid in the mangled sector. I would have caught it, but then a new idea drew my attention. At present, I am working on a grotesque of previously unknown power built from the most exquisite and exotic body parts from strong fighters. Specimen, should you ever see the corpse of a fine warrior or mighty creature lying at your feet, cut out the best part and bring it to me. I'll find you some interesting samples. Hey, Marag, Elantok, do you not get enough monsters in this accursed city? Good, Specimen. Your cooperation will be rewarded. Why did I survive the interrogation to which Marizai brought me? Your body was given to me for disposal. It was thrown into the cesspit. The Homunculus's voice grows thoughtful. It is an anomaly that the specimen did not die. I must consider fitting the disposal chute with a shredding mechanism. Irlet shakes her head. The Master of Flesh is twisting the truth, Elantok. Had the Arbanian not interfered with the in the Archon's trial, it is unlikely that anyone could have survived that questioning. Could only dream of meeting such a wise and enlightened being. The homunculus's limbs react with the excited clatter of blades. I have few equals in Cormorant. My knowledge is vast and goes beyond the mysteries of flesh and essence. I have observed many disjunctions where the destructive energies of the unreal erupted here in the webway. I have studied that devastating force and learned to harness it. I have created psi stiflers to keep the space around this spire intact. I have touched knowledge so ancient. Cervantes abruptly ends his speech, casts a suspicious look at you, and then snaps. It's not necessary for you to know this specimen. Wow, this guy's weak to stroking his ego. Let us stop there. I'd like to speak with you about a member of my retinue who was delivered to you. An impatient and unsettling grimace. Which specimen in particular interests you? My navigator, Cassia, was with me when we were captured. Where is she now? The female with the exceptionally strong connection to the Veil, as well as a number of rare monkey mutations, well, most notably a third eye. I am studying the influence of complete isolation from the Veil and the outside world on the specimen's abilities, sanity, and physical condition. She no longer screams inside her reservoir, but she is certainly alive. I am not yet ready to conclude the experiment. Relinquish them, please. Cervantes gives you a look of confusion. Why would I, specimen? With full escort, I would have better chances of succeeding and contributing to your plans. Press your weapon to the base of your own jaw. Unless you want to lose a valuable specimen, you will release my companion immediately. I will not stand for you keeping my companions captive. Do not try my patience. Kneel. I recognize your power over me and beg you for leniency. Full escort, I could have better chances of succeeding and contributing to your plans. And find yourself other fighters. The chasm has enough prisoners, mercenaries, and gladiators. My specimens are not yours to waste. I feel like he's gonna make me beg. I feel like this wouldn't really faze him because he might Might just bring us back. Again, we'll kneel. Cervantes responds with a derisive smile. You are so naive, monkey. Have you been convinced by your impotent mind that I could be appeased by such a trite demonstration of obedience? You should be on your knees whenever you are in my presence. Now get out of my sight. Tortured my tech priest Pascal. Why? I was curious to see what kind of symbiosis might emerge between rudimentary monkey augments and my own unflawed creations. Much like cartilage infused with steroids will swell a subject's feeble body, new computational circuits sprouted throughout his algorithm. I found the process enlightening. Do not waste my time, specimen. Try your aid, homunculus. Tavantius arches an eyebrow. You forget yourself, specimen. Go and serve my will, and should I ever decide to show you favor, I will do so at a time of my choosing. Is there anything I can offer to repay a being of such brilliance for the attention he may graciously grant me? Tavantius' smile is a strange combination of contempt and pleasure. Your paltry possessions do not interest me. If you had something that could intrigue a master sculptor such as I, perhaps a remarkable piece of organics, then I might grant you a few short moments of my time. If it is a sacrifice you want, artisan of flesh, then I am ready to offer myself as one. Airlight's voice vibrates, but she keeps her eyes locked on Tervantius. Will you take my flesh? I will take more than flesh. I can extract something far more valuable from a single shred of your organics. Homunculus smiles unnervingly. This does interest me. I will not remove much of her. Her functionality will not suffer. Hear that line. This will be a step upon the path of atoning for the errors of my past, Elantak. My sacrifice will bring you closer to salvation. I will commit myself into the hands of this tormentor. No. Roulette frowns, and you catch a strange look in her eyes, a mixture of sadness, relief, and shame. Cervantes shrugs, and the spark of curiosity in his eyes fade. Weary sigh, the homunculus turns away from you, his knife-like fingers making an unnerving scraping sound. Okay. Save. As I just got called down for dinner. We are going to take a break. Boop. Boop. I am back. Had shell noodles and steak and green beans for dinner. It was quite good. Alright, let's just continue. Alright. The appendages protruding from the Xenos' back move restlessly, emitting an unnerving screech. Tervantius is completely engrossed in his apparatus and spares you no attention. I found some materials suitable for your new monster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The homunculus digs through the chunks of flesh with the enthusiasm of a hungry vulture. Finally, he snaps, "Good materials. Good specimen. Bring me more." Cervantes examines the bloodied body parts with lascivious interest. Then he rips an organ out of his own chest, adds it to the trophies, and hisses in satisfaction. An interesting composition. An unusual set of starting parameters that can be strengthened by an original mixture of essences. This will be a mighty beast. I will call it the Anguish Prospector. You have done well, Specimen, and for that you will be rewarded. +3 deflection against melee attacks. A moment of your precious time, and I'm willing to pay for it. After rummaging through what you have, Gervontius pulls out a fragment of flesh that has caught his eye. He splits off a piece of it, places it in his mouth, thinks for a while, and finally concludes, "Curious. You have earned my attention, Specimen. Speak quickly." I met a monster in the Mangled sector. A creature that can steal years of its victims' lives and mutilate their bodies. Are you able to heal that? Gervontius's mechanical limbs start to wave with excitement. I recognize the mark of Cathonos. Exquisite feeding. What an honor it is for you to be the vessel with which my marvelous creation satisfies its thirst, and to give your modest life force so it may be transformed by an energy converter. Fear not, Specimen. It is within my power to reverse the effects of its touch. The Cathonos was an interesting experiment, one that could convert the life forces of its victims into fuel, but it was flawed. Disobedient specimen that escaped. He glances at you mockingly. I do not recommend escaping, Specimen. The pain from the transformation only stops after I inject the blocker, and I only do it at the end of the procedure. Do you wish to spend the rest of your existence with the sensation of your skin melting and your bones snapping? Alright. Oh.
In this tapestry of a world,
The
I
chute.
am the rogue thread.
The chute sends spent materials to the corpse dump materials such as you. Minion. Execution Engine Master. You vividly remember lying on the table and watching mechanical pincers tear through your flesh. It didn't happen. I did almost die. Oh, Ulfar. Where's my other companion? Cassia.
One step at a time, amidst the madness.
The bars of the cage are sturdy enough to stop a tank or the fury of a post-human.
Oh, to see them cut down.
Singing softly under his breath, the man of enormous proportions is intently stripping raw meat from a bone with his teeth. His unwashed red hair is falling into his face, his beard is matted and blood-stained, and the aforementioned teeth look more like fangs than any human equivalent. A less knowledgeable person might not recognize this giant humanoid, but you are well aware that this is a space marine, an angel of the Emperor. The scar tattoos on his body, which at first appeared abstract and primitive, together form an angular image of a wolf's mouth with bared fangs. This person must be a genetic offspring of Leman Russ, the space wolf of Fenris. Fenris Hjöldaflak.
Fenris Hjolda, mortal. You know the old words. Good words. Strong as a rock. Sharp as the blade of a force axe. Deadly as a kraken's tooth.
The red-haired giant's jaws stop their work. Emotions are hard to read on the crudely hewn face, but you think you have surprised him. The words are spoken in a guttural rasp at the uh, of an inveterate killer, wholly in keeping with the man's formidable appearance. But you did not expect him to slip into poetic epithets so readily.
What do you want?
Picking a piece of meat from between his teeth, the warrior resumes his murmured singing. Between the lines of his song, he tosses out, "What do you want?" Study the man. The huge body, with straggly, overgrown red hair, perfectly suits the deep, chilling voice of this man, or of this beast in the guise of a man. Tribal scar-like tattoos cover his chest, arms, and back, and you glimpse intricate braids in his mass of unwashed hair. His body bears so many pale scars that you cannot count them all, and muscles bulge beneath his skin like boulders. He looks like a statue carved from stone. It is clear that captivity has sapped this prisoner of none of his physical power. Your assessment is confirmed when you spot the remains of a Drukhari in the pile of carrion at his feet, likely one of the homunculus's servants. Drukhari's flesh appears to be making a fine snack for your new acquaintance. Who are you?
I am a wolf.
At first glance, the man does not strike you as possessing great intellect. He is clearly more accustomed to mauling and killing than thinking, but you detect a certain shrewdness in his eyes. After looking you over, he says shortly, "That. How'd you come to be here?"
My pack answered the Inquisition's call and came to the Coronis Expanse. There was a battle, and then the young wolves yearning to be meat for their brotherlings. To a feast of bolters they went out roving. Though they were but few, one long fang with them went loping. Not to see them cut down by scythes unclean. The pups he sent scattering, and there stood alone the paths guarding. For a foe he long spied, one worthy among unworthy. The song of swords singing, they clashed with clamor and skill, until stood the old wolf upon the bones. Then, by the birds of battle, was he brought down.
Nice. He's a poet.
Was that clear enough? This saga sounds less interesting in prose.
The giant chuckles. I don't know more about your brothers.
That butcher sent you to spy for him, did he? Or do they know nothing of the Emperor's angels, the space wolves of Fenris, or the great Layman Russ in your corner of the galaxy?
With a crooked smile, he narrows his eyes at you. Why does the homunculus keep you in a cage?
For his own safety. When I am not busy killing inhuman spawn in the arena, the Xenos fear my will.
The giant lets out a low growl that rings with the fury of a wild beast. I want to help you. Except for the same fate. I was also captured by the Xenos, and they have forced me to kill for their entertainment. I want to help you.
Who are you to offer me help? You stink of Xenos. I see you are on friendly terms with them. You are not sitting in a cage, and you smell of someone else. Someone spiteful and cunning. You cannot help me.
He loudly sniffs the air and his pupils dilate slightly. So, don't they feed you?
A predator does not eat only when it is hungry. There are many reasons to eat.
Or looks at you in mild surprise, then understanding brings a crooked grin to his face, just as obliquely. There must have been a reason for this bloody repast. For a moment, the vicious grin loses some of its sincerity, and the bloodthirsty prisoner casts an intense, scrutinizing look at your face, as if trying to read your thoughts. You must be planning to escape, yes?
And why do you want to know?
Grinning, the warrior runs his fingers through his dirty hair, making himself look even wilder in the process. I have no more questions. Chewing, he wipes the blood from his mouth with the back of his hand. Listen closely to the song the prisoner is singing to himself. You do not know the language. It sounds seem crude and mangled, but not entirely lacking the harsh dignity of a form of Gothic, while also sounding similar to the rumble of a landslide. Sharp and choppy guttural phrases tumbling forth in a harsh rhythm. Damn. You close your eyes and try to pick up the song's rhythm, to slip into its fangs and idiosyncratic flow. Alas, your words do not seamlessly merge with the stream. As soon as you sing them, you can sense how painfully misplaced they are.
You are no skilled, I see. It is not for your fireside verses that your friends esteem you, I wager.
Red-haired warrior finishes his song and laughs sarcastically. Warriors such as you could prove useful to me.
To get what you want, you will have to convince two very headstrong individuals. Me and my captor. That claw-handed Xenos.
Narrowed eyes, he says weightily. Step away from the cage. Alright. Sure. I think I botched the convincing him part. That again. Oh, no longer has that thing. Alright.
There will be no peace in my wake.
The thing I forgot to do was go in here. Ascending order. And re-equipped all my equipment. Boy, my bonuses are shit. $55. Makeshift Xeno mesh against non-human enemies. Plus 5 wounds. Against area attacks. Against ranged attacks. You don't have, okay. Adaptive Flak Vest. Armor of the Undaunted. Reflection of 20% against that. Virulent. Must not have features. Reinforced incubus armor. It's ranged attacks. Or is that dodge if they're in the okay. Alright. Now I need to get all this stuff re-equipped. Gosh dang it. Very obviously for him. Okay. And effect use. Power grippies. Terra monocle. So kills a target with a single ranged attack for the first time in combat. The wearer immediately gains an additional attack this round. So many things. Hmm. Okay. That was a heroic act. Pretty good, honestly. Performs an area attack. Got boots. Everybody got boots. God, I wish I knew what. I wish I knew what all the equipment I had on was. But alas. Logic. Room slaughter. Let me see, the auto hits better. Oh. It's like I knew I had another thing that gave like a bunch of skills, but I couldn't find it because it was already being worn. Doi. %. Third cape, battle scarred mantle. This bearer has the shroud effect. When becoming the target of an attack, they automatically dodge. Short crack used in battle increases the bearer's dodge by 20%. Five plus agility, so that'd be 9 crit chance. It's honestly pretty good. I just want to hear that. Seemed good. Strategist. Ends their turn. They remove burning, bleeding, and toxin from all adjacent allies. When the wearer inflicts bleeding with a power. Okay. Transfer 10% dodge. Damage of an attack of opportunity. An ally's ability. Up damage. And an effect. For which abilities? Officer? Okay, that's what I have. Push an enemy. Oh, when it pushes an enemy. Okay. Really? So party peeps, hello Jarl Javi, how you doing? I just got a bunch of my inventory back, and now I'm just trying to re-equip all of my peeps and not remember how they were equipped. Smile. Read that. Yeah, how you doing? Line area attack. Alright, where are all these? Use of revel and slaughter. Plus 10. You don't have that. Willpower bonus. That. Okay. Let me go back to these. Where's our little cherub boy? There we go. There we go. Gotta get the cherub back. It does not dodge this grenade. They also suffer 30 mental damage. Didn't realize that these also showed up. Iron Eye. Frag grenade. Grenades show up. Why? Why are those separated? Oh, you don't have a helmet. Boop, boop, boop. Charges, 15 commerce. 15 that. That might be what I had on you. That or this? It's enemies with less than 50% health. Need against the wearer and to all enemies. Okay. Okay. Fellowship instead of int. Nope. He's dogmatic. Boom. There we go. Alright. Everybody's equipped again. Never seen this Warhammer game before? Is it new? Relatively. Came out like last year, like near the end of last year. I alt tab to see when its release date was. It's made by Owlcat Games, who made Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, and I'm forgetting what the other one is. The one in the Stolen Kingdoms. Rogue Trader. Came out in December of last year. What was the name of that first game? Okay, I know you have more than 2 games. Why are you only listing that and Wrath of the Righteous? The fuck? What the fuck was the name of the other one? Kingmaker. That's what it was. Yeah, same studio that made Pathfinder, Kingmaker, and Wrath of the Righteous, which are both CRPGs. So this is a CRPG Warhammer game.
Patience. Oh, my nerves are frayed.
And it's very good. We're on the like 3rd chapter, so I guess like halfway point. Alright. The bars of the cage are sturdy enough to stop a tank or the fury of a post-human.
Not to see them cut down. But it's unclean.
Technically already read all this. Fury in chains. Most knowledgeable person. Oh. Oh, what? Meaning of which eludes you? Nah, fuck that shit. I got that the first time around. Yeah, I'm save scumming for a passive check. For context, I had reloaded to save after doing dialogue with this guy because I didn't have all my shit equipped. And I failed a check because of that. Lore Imperium. God damn. My person with Imperium lore is not here. Of course. There we go. God, that was a boost right there. Sheesh. I'm gonna forget that I have that on. The scar tattoos on his body, which at first appeared abstract and primitive, together form an angular image of a wolf's mouth with bared fangs. The person must be of the genetic offspring of Lehman Russ, Space Wolf of Fenris. Fenris Shoulder Block.
Fenris Yolda, mortal. You know the old words. Good words. Strong as a rock. Sharp as the blade of a force axe. Deadly as a kraken's tooth.
You weren't expecting him to be poetic. Study the man. Who you?
I am a wolf. My pack and the young wolf. My pack answered the Inquisition's call. The young wolves yearning to be meat for their brotherlings. To
I
a
love that this
feast
guy
of
just
bolters they went out roving.
recites a poem.
Though they were but few.
When you meet him.
Long fang with them went loping. Not to see them cut down by scythes unclean. The pups he sent scattering, and there stood alone the paths guarding. For a foe he long spied, one worthy among unworthy. The song of swords singing, they clashed with clamor and skill. Until stood the old wolf upon the bones. Then, by the birds of battle, was he brought down. That butcher sent you to spy for him, did he? For his own safety. When I am not busy killing inhuman spawn in the arena, the Xenos fear my will.
Except for the same fate. I was also captured by the Xenos, and they have forced me to kill for their entertainment.
But I sit in a cage while you roam freely around their city. They do not fear you. Maybe there is a reason for that. Maybe our fates are not the same at all.
He shrugs. They feed you?
A predator does not eat only when it is hungry. There are many reasons to eat.
And does it taste good?
I cannot recommend it. The meat of these Xenos is steeped in corruption and frailty, as well as the foul substances they inject into their blood in vast quantities.
You must be planning to escape, yes?
And why do you want to know?
Alright. So the reason we reloaded the save was because of this option right here. Listen closely to the song the prisoner is singing to himself. You do not know the language. The sounds seem crude and mangled, but not entirely lacking the harsh dignity of a form of Gothic, while also sounding similar to the rumble of a landslide, sharp and choppy guttural phrases tumbling forth in a harsh rhythm. I reloaded the save. I failed this. 85% chance. It was like a 70 or 60% chance. When I did this without all of my equipment on. Alright. We got it, boys. You close your eyes and enter the flow of the song, like slipping into a fast-flowing mountain river. Words rise up naturally in your mind. They are not the same ones sung by the prisoner, but you sense their aptness. Verse flows from your lips, full of surprising poetic metaphors and bloody details of a nameless hero fighting monsters under the light of unfamiliar stars.
You are the one who has supped the mjord of the Skjalds, I see. In the long haul, some of my brothers will be eager to tell you of their exploits so that you would sing a saga of their deeds.
When the song ends, the red-haired giant looks at you in surprise, the ice in his eyes thawing slightly. Warriors such as you could prove useful to me.
To get what you want, you will have to convince two very headstrong individuals. Me and my captor. That claw-handed Xenos.
With narrowed eyes, he says weightily, "Step away." Right.
What lies beyond?
Okay. Tavantius is completely engrossed in this. Master, allow me to take the space marine you keep in a cage. No. The homunculus snaps curtly, and he returns to his work. Noticing that you are still waiting for something, he hisses irritably, still not taking his eyes off the experiment. If you wish to continue wasting my time with your pathetic pleading and whining, specimen, then you know the price. Pay up or get out. Cannot pay now. Then get out of my sight. Do not disturb me again, specimen. Okay. I know what I need to do.
In this tapestry of a world, I am the rogue thread.
This is servant. I've seen Cassia anywhere.
Grace and strength of will. It is sad that such gifts have fallen to one whose soul will never be illuminated by the light of terror. Limited Petty creatures often wrongly pity others who are, in fact, superior to them. I do not know if I should find it fascinating or repulsive.
Spitting barbs at each other. Alright, let's go kill that Kotonos thing. Maybe then we'll release the Spess Marine. Or we'll get something to trade that we can trade with for the Spess Marine.
One step at a time, amidst the madness.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing
There will be
Cassia
no
anywhere.
peace in my wake.
Mangled sector. That's not where I'm going. Alright. Oh. Lawbringer. Defensive boots. If the wearer did not spend MP during their turn, they double their cover efficiency in half cover. For the defensive Cadia. Cadia stands. When the wearer of this badge gains a stack of versatility, they also gain three momentum.
They will see. Oh yes, they all will see.
The low vibration that permeates this space is the death throes of atoms becoming nothing.
Curiosity sings in my veins.
Fencing boots. The wearer gains plus 2 times agility bonus percent parry when using swords. Whenever the wearer parries a sword, they immediately counterattack, causing the attacking enemy to become staggered. If the attacker is staggered, the wearer's parry is increased by 5 times agility. The wearer is an assassin and successfully dodges or parries an enemy's attack. It automatically creates an additional opening. Tactical genius. Another wearer successfully dodges or parries an incoming attack. They gain 10 momentum. And then a melter charge. Hey, buddy. We'll hunt again soon.
Oh, what lies beyond?
Bonus. Enthralled Marauder.
Compared to naval service, that was barely a challenge.
Hello. Sploosh. Alright. No battle music? And there really is no battle music.
Schemes within schemes within schemes.
Us. Hey.
Let's see. A genius at work.
So weird when there's no battle music, dude. Ooh. That was a lot of damage. Right. Very good.
This is why I was chosen.
Yes, it was.
If it serves your cause. I understand your intent.
Abalone.
Not like
Holy shit, what the fuck?
Fortune favors the swift.
Just fucking murked him. Holy fucking shit, dude.
Huh. What if?
Like, buddy, calm the fuck down, man.
A wicked thought.
I am not your...
It's almost gone. Alright. The biomechanical creature is flailing its limbs faintly. Its body is broken and bears the signs of combat, but it seems no one is planning to repair it. You see the glistening flesh under the cracked carapace and the bunches of wires that permeate it. The armor plates rise heavily, and the creature emits a wistful, creaking sigh full of regret. The claw on Pascal's mechadendrite clangs loudly. The visor emits a series of clicks, switching the observation spectrum. Pascal's hand automatically reaches for the combat tool on his belt, even as his eyes closely watch the dying creature. Examine the creature. Every limb of the creature, the hard ones on skeletal paws and the flexible ones on metallic cords, is equipped with a variety of implements similar to surgical tools. The jagged circular saws, twisted drills, and vibrating monoscalpels promise unbearable pain. You can clearly see the inside of the mechanism through the holes in its armor. Its guts can open to drag a hamstrung victim inside. Once the victim finds themselves in the monster's stomach, they will be pierced by injectors that will liquefy them. The substance will then drain to the reservoirs at the tail end of the creature. Can you understand me? The creature emits a series of wheezing sounds. Was it an answer, moans of agony, or just the normal rumblings of its mechanisms? There's no way to tell. It is trying to communicate. What are you? The creature responds with a series of choking and snarling sounds. After a moment, as if realizing that its language is not clear to you, it extends a fighting limb in your direction in a menacing gesture. The message is clear. I am a warrior. I am a killer. This is an engine of pain, Elantak. An executioner created by the depravity of my twisted cousins. Living flesh fused to a mechanism whose sole purpose is to inflict as much pain as it can. Its face is contorted with bitterness and disgust. The Dark Ones are caught in a cycle of torment, desperately seeking pleasure in the suffering of others. This machine is but an instrument of their endless desire, a symbol of what they are willing to do to slake the thirst and fear that consumes them. I'll not hurt you anymore. Hey, Ice Mega Mate, how you doing? The creature's servo motors howl as they send the last remaining energy into its body. One of the limbs lunges at you, but the charge is not enough for the strike to reach its target. End the unusual exchange. Something bursts in the creature's gut, with a quiet squelch and a puddle of oily ichor spreads from under its belly. Welcome to Warhammer. Pascal, do you want to study this device? Request approved. Pascal eagerly unfolds his megadendrites, and they all rush toward the monster. A shrieking drill cuts deeper into the armor, while a claw hungrily snaps off chunks of the flesh pierced with strands of metal wire. The creature thrashes and wheezes, but cannot escape the merciless vivisection. The collected samples are sent to a portable analyzer, and the tech priest's visor clicks, recording the procedure in picked images. Pascal? I asked you if you wanted to study the creature. I did not say that you are to study the creature. I just asked if you wanted to. Pascal suddenly freezes and takes a little step back. Process interrupted. An operational collision has been detected. What was this machine built for? Presenting a hypothesis. This construct is a mobile execution chamber. A subject is immobilized by the implements, placed inside the construct, and subjected to highly painful disposal via chemical injection. The biological remains are preserved in the built-in reservoir of the construct. That's literally what I was able to tell at a glance. The initial chemical analysis of the remains yields an abnormal result. The box emits a clanging metallic noise. It is as if the pain of the victims of this machine is dissolved in them. It is circulating in the metal veins of this creature. It can feel everything. The nature of the damage indicates that the unit has been in combat. I hypothesize that its constructor sent it into the arena. Based on its current condition, the result of the combat test was unsatisfactory. Otherwise, the unit would have been repaired. What made you stop? This unit is under the influence of conflicting impulses. The operational vector of cognition dictates the necessity of studying this subject. The operational vector of obeying the Omnissiah and his universal laws dictate the necessity of recoiling from the subject and purifying it. The operational vector of adoration before his might dictates the necessity of reverence for the subject where the natural spirit resides in synthesis with that of the machine. Is this thing more than a perversion and an outrage to you? The categorization is correct. The object is a perversion and an outrage, one dangerously close to the creation of an anathematized anathematized. There we go. Had to like say the word anathema for me to get it. Abominable intelligence. But it is also a miracle of his boundless polymorphism. Pascal's voice carries a metallic note. Man, this creature, we are taking it with us. No. No. If you think this thing is alive, you may end its suffering. You are an explorator. Study it before it gives up the ghost. Purge this corruption. Hmm. Hmm. Study it. Request approved as doctrinally correct. Pascal leans over the creature and the drill whirs, sounding shrill and relentless. The tech priest's voice hums with the ice-cold determination of a divine vivisector. Let the cycle be discontinued. Let ignorance be discontinued. Bzz, bzz. Sonos pain converter. That devoured its victim's suffering and converted it into energy. Life Sunder. Kaboom. Yes. Lore, Xenos, multi-key. Oh, hey, more multi-keys. And 2 mounted charges.
In this tapestry of a world, I am the rogue thread.
Yeah, you are.
An expected result.
Man has cut off his eyelids. It will hunt again soon.
There will be
No, it won't. I
no
killed it.
peace in my wake.
Assuming we're talking about the same thing. Oh, that's not the exit. There's the
They
exit.
will see. Oh, yes, they all will see.
Nope. Alright. Back to the chasm. Alright, let's see if we can get Ulfar out. With this stigma, what's it? Yeah. There we go.
Curiosity sings in my veins.
Save. Head trauma. Broken ribs. Ugh. Space Marine. Hold out the bag of samples. Of course, Master. Cervantes extracts a piece of flesh, examines it, fastidiously palpitating and tearing off fragments, then places it in some sort of container. It will do. Obedient specimen. So be it. You have earned a few minutes of my attention. The answer is still no. This particular monkey specimen has phenomenal parameters. I previously studied 2 other specimens of the same breed, but have yet to untangle their genetic secrets. He also performs well enough in the arena. I will not part with the last specimen. If you do not release the Emperor's Angel, his retribution shall fall upon you, Xenos. With him, I would definitely succeed. It would further both our interests. Surely it is dangerous to keep such a prisoner in your abode. What if he escapes and comes for your head? Sure, the loss of some monkey could never impede the work of a mind as great as yours. Poor soul. Surely nothing good awaits him in captivity. Surely the loss of some monkey could never impede the work of a mind as great as yours. Perhaps the genetic subtype of all 3 specimens was defective, and this is the cause of my limited success. In that case, the loss of this specimen would not be significant. I recommend pain as a means of pacification, and you can take his armor. I found it entirely unintriguing. Cervantes hands you a bone key. With a weary sigh, the homunculus turns away from you, his knife-like fingers making an unnerving scraping sound. It's something about his armor. Did he give it to us? Doubt it was that. The red-haired giant does not stop singing under his breath and does not seem to notice you, intent as he is in his bloody repast. I need your help. The prisoner looks at you expectantly without stopping his chewing, but his expression shifts subtly, as if his affected crudeness of mind and manner has been replaced by focus and cunning. I'm planning an escape. Are you with me?
Why would I be? You are a stranger. How can I trust you? You could be an enemy. Worse, you could be an idiot.
He clicks his tongue. We are both servants of the Emperor. We ought to help each other in a perilous place. I feel like this guy's not a salamander, so I feel like that argument's not gonna... You don't want to say Xenos with me?
Why didn't you say that at the start? What did you expect? Did you think you would waft the scent of slaughter under the bloodthirsty killer's nose, and it would rush off to do your bidding?
His expression of dull savagery then changes to a mocking grin. We're both servants of the Emperor. We ought to help each other in airless place.
Do you serve the Emperor? Or are you a puppet with the hand of that Xenos butcher up your arse? How am I to know whose words you speak? Yours or his? How am I to know what plot you're trying to draw me into?
Warrior raises his eyebrows. Are you a coward then? Afraid to come out of your cage?
When I rip your insolent tongue out of your throat, do not ask why. This is why.
Flexing his muscles, the prisoner stays in a surly tone. Or says in a surly tone. Give me the key.
Gave? Well, if he gave me to you, step into this cage and take me. You think a filthy blasphemous Xenos could do whatever he pleases with me?
A hostile glint appears in his eyes. His snarl reveals his long fangs, and you know that nothing good awaits you past those bars.
Come here, you wretch! You have hidden on the other side of those bars long enough! Come in here and repeat your filthy words so I can kick them back into your bloody, stinking muscle!
A wild, deranged expression comes over his face. In a harsh voice, he growls.
Fine! You got a rise out of me! And from what I can smell, you did not soil yourself in the process. I respect those with courage. I can work with you.
The giant lets out a frightening, sepulchral roar, which turns into equally savage laughter. Wiping away tears, he stops chuckling, and without a hint of threat in his voice, he remarked,
It seems Tervantius is not as clever as he likes to appear if he's letting me out of the cage. The joke is on him. Good steel I have already. But if we are going hunting, I will need my wolf skin.
He rolls his huge shoulders, and you hear his joints crack loudly. He lifts his battle knife from the floor, decorated with scarlet runes. It seems to be his last surviving possession. Weighing it in his hand and wearing a skeptical frown, the wolf said,
What did you say your name was?
Throwing back his head, he lets out a blood-chilling howl, one that contains the deranged mirth of evil spirits dancing on an icy cliff. Predatory grin blooms on his face. I didn't. Space Marine. Ulfar is a space wolf, a mighty space marine. His proportions instill respect in his allies and fear in his foes, but because Ulfar takes up 4 cells instead of 1, certain mechanics may work differently for him. Ulfar does not use cover or conventional human armor and weapons. Ulfar's unique ability allows him, once per combat, instead of losing consciousness due to having his wounds reduced to 0, to become incapacitated for 2 rounds. While in this state, Ulfar cannot be targeted by attacks or suffer damage, and he also counts as full cover for his allies. Once 2 rounds have passed, Ulfar can act again and regains 50% of his maximum wounds. Furthermore, Ulfar is an arch-militant. An arch-militant's keystone ability allows them to gain a stack of versatility each time they make an attack whose type is different from the previous one of the arch-militant used. For the purposes of this ability, the attack types are single shot, single melee attack, area melee attack, area ranged attack, and burst attack. For each stack of this effect on the Archmilitant, their weapon skill and ballistic skill are increased by 5. If the Archmilitant accumulates 4 or more stacks of this effect, their attacks start dealing additional damage equal to Archmilitant's weapon skill divided by 2, or their ballistic skill divided by 2, whichever is greater. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, battle brother. Let's go. We're gonna... Yep, I'm like, we're gonna have to do so many levels for this man. Oh boy. He is a soldier, so that is same as Argenta. Okay. God, that's a lot of levels. We are literally 1 level away from maxing out too. All right. Let's see. Begins combat with 2 stacks of versatility. When entering combat, the Archmilitant gains blah 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 and blah blah blah. For the end of combat. Stack of versatility. Okay. So like he's gotta have. Oh yeah. Death rolled characters gain 50% critical hit chance against targets with a bleeding effect. Lifetime of scars. Suffer -7 less damage from fire, toxic damage, and bleeding effects. Once in combat, when a death rolled character suffers a stun, blind, the effect is ignored, and they instead gain 20% of their maximum temp. Gain 10% crit chance for axes, hammers, and las weapons. Wounded beast. Every injury increases the death rolled. Every trauma counts as 3 injuries. Okay. No special like Spess Marine thing. Okay. What kind of... I mean, you have an axe there. I don't know what I want him to be yet. Here, let's actually cancel that and his equipment. He's got a Astartes bolt pistol and a combat knife, and then a bolter. Be glad. Excess. Astartes power boots. Wolf pelt. Astartes power gloves. Wolf skin. Wow, he like literally can barely use anything. Have the Aquila. Our capes aren't big enough for this man. Shame. Interesting that he can't use that. Yeah. Okay, so he uses 2 weapons, and he's got a bolt and a primitive. Speaking of, heavy stubber, multi-melter. Wish you could sort by like usable. He can't use it. he can't use anything, man. Melter Scorcher. Favorite weapon of the Adeptus Astartes. If attack with this knife kills the target, the wielder restores 1 AP and can make an additional attack with this knife. Yo, that's like super good, actually. Okay. So, like, really, we want both of these for him. All right. He's got kick already. Very nice. Gains a confident approach. Instead of the usual bonus of versatility, he gets 5% dodge reduction. And parry reduction ignores 5% of enemy cover for every stack. Score critical hits for the Archmilitant's critical damage for these attacks minus 50 minus critical hit chance divided by 2%. If the Archmilitant already has 4, cost 0 AP will not count towards the attack limit this turn and will. Wildfire. Are there like Adeptus Astartes things? No. Melter weapon. He's already got dueling mastery. He's got dual weapon combat. Good. Combat master. What's this? Every weapon proficiency. Get that. Okay. Demolition. Furnace Grouse. Medicaid. Athletics. Alright. Agility and willpower by 5. Axes, hammers, and laser weapons. Scars. Go with the weapon skill. Send that. Let's see. All right. Maneuver melee attack makes all arms master. Another athletics check. Let's go for toughness. First time in combat, the Archer Militant reaches 0 wounds while under the effects of steady superiority or heroic sacrifice. The Archer Militant restores 20% of their maximum wounds and loses this effect. Until the end of combat, every attack grants a stacking plus 2% bonus to critical hit chance. Until the end of combat, the Archer Militant's attacks do not spend all MP. Additionally, each attack grants a stacking plus 5% bonus to dodge for 1 round. You can use both Heroic Act and the Heroic Act Warrior Soldier Architect in a single combat. Good. I'm gonna go with that. You can get a lot of these. Just some awareness. Actually, just some carouse. It's killed at least one enemy with melee attack. Okay, close quarters training. Can use two-handed ranged weapons with that. Okay. Martial art. Shoot on the hands. Any ranged area and burst attacks of the Archer Militant reduce the weapon skill of all enemies hit by 10. Okay. Ingenious. For every 3 stacks instead of 4. Trying to find the one that's for oh. Okay. Just ouch. Okay. Let's see. Reckless Rush. Immediately gains plus 3. 3 plus, so 4, 5, 6, 7 MP. Those stacks are doubled until the end of the turn, but the Archer Militant loses all stacks. If it hits, will cause all the targets to make a toughness failed. Piercing rending damage inflicts bleeding and slowed on target until. Okay. Power swords and power axes count as both energy and rending, while power hammers count as both energy and impact. Attacks that combine several types of damage will benefit from each additional effect. I'm getting an ability. Like never. As long as Arch Militant has stacks of versatility, it costs 0 action points. Okay. Only let me get this like once. Alright. Does 50% damage to targets, regardless of whether that target is the Archmilitant or someone else. Maybe Archmilitant burst attacks, melee area attacks reduce the dodge. Hello, clever blue wave. How you doing? Thank you for the sippies. Ah. These two-handed range weapons, blood haze. There's one enemy with melee attack this round. First single target ability used by an ally on the Archmilitant grants him 1 action point. Okay. Gaining stack versatility increases crit chance by 10. More crits? Yes, please. God, I wish I could increase that. Yeah, how you doing, Blue? Welcoming. Did you get the mech game? Are you still on the fence? Toughness up. Oh. For transfer axes, hammers, and las weapons. Right. Jesus, that weapon skill. Whew. We got a Space Marine. Let's go.
Patience. My nerves are frayed.
Talk to the bloodstained proselytes. Just watched you an hour ago.
What lies beyond?
You were watching me an hour ago, or you bought the mech game an hour ago? What's this? Oh. Huh? Go that way. What about this way? Or even is anything here? Oh, is that where Cassia is gonna be? It's totally where Cassia is gonna be. Take a good look at him. And watch your stream. Nice, nice, nice. Merazai. Abyss. Oh. I'm like, the fuck is that? It's a torch. The tall Drukhari, whose body is riddled with painful-looking puncture wounds and dotted with metal rings and clamps, lets out a chuckle as you approach and begins speaking in his own language. Your elucidator hisses to life, translating the words. Look, Carrion, is this the monkey that cost you your place at the Archon's side? Marizai's eyes flare with turquoise fire at the sight of you, an immediate, uncontrollable urge to kill. The Drakari seizes the blades hanging from his belt, and freezes at the shout of the metal-studded Xenos. And I not have money for games. Man, I understand that one. Big oof. Careful with the meat for the arena, Marizai. If Sinisthoria is short on toys for her fighters, you'll be punished again. She seems to enjoy pitting you against Chimerae. Maybe this time she won't deem it necessary to give you back your skin after you slay them all. The motionless Marizai turns his head towards his kin, and you notice a thin red stripe on his neck below his ear, like a fresh stitch. Shaking with barely contained rage, the former Drakon stares at you with dark eyes. So you and your rabble are the champions of the local arena? So Marizai was skinned and made to fight like this? Well, that is a balm to my heart, and also a delight to my eyes, where something was still stirring a while ago. Snapped the elucidator shut and addressed Marizai. Your kin do not seem overly fond of you. I want to talk to you. I just wanted to get a proper look at you, humiliated, stripped of everything you were, and later I shall find a way to kill you. Address all the Drakar in front of you. Know this, I will kill each and every one of you, and I do not care if you are champions or not. So you and your rabble are the champions of the local arena? Abbas frowns at the sound of the elucidator and turns away from you dismissively, exchanging a few words with the witch standing next to him. The mocking laughter and haughty looks in your direction leave no doubt about the subject of their conversation. Your kin do not seem overly fond of you. Marizai casts a contemptuous glare at the witches, and without hesitation switches to Low Gothic. This witch cult scum is not my kin. Half-borns like Abyss belong here in the filth of the chasm. Cuts himself off, his gloves squeaking in protest as he clenches his fists. I saw what happened at the trial. You were tricked. You're trapped. I'm trapped. We could help each other. I want to get out of Cormorag alive. I need allies. Lean closer. From the bottom of my heart, I hope you die in agony. I kind of don't want him. I know this guy is like, you can recruit him as a companion, but I kind of don't want him, you know? He like took advantage of Irlet, subjected the entire party to torture. From the bottom of my heart, I hope you die in agony. Marizai's voice fills with venom. Oh no, Monkey. You will live long enough to ensure such a death for you. Abyss's expression turns sour. I am tired of this noise. We must go, proselytes. It is time for our next training session. Win the arena battle.
There will be no peace in my wake.
Boop, 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 boop. Alright. Spess.
Ah, one step at a time, amidst the madness.
Oh. Have I not noticed this before? Yoink.
Curiosity sings in my veins.
Hang in there, comrade. You recover and slay 100 Xenos in the name of the Emperor.
May these instructions protect the machines. May the filters of knowledge.
Where's our Space Marine friend? Over here.
May terrors like
Everlord, how you feel?
Lord Captain.
Let us raise our cups at Vater, in honor of deeds accomplished and in expectation of those yet to come.
Why do you call me Etvater?
This is the name given on Fenris to a pack father, a commander or captain. An Etvater answers to a Jarl, the commander of a great company. Since you are the one who commands your crew, and I follow you at present, I am granting you the honored title of Etvater. You, of course, are a maiden, not a father. But we have no word meeting Maiden Commander in our tongue, as all Space Wolves are men.
Ofar suddenly frowns and adds haltingly. I gotta go later. Have a good night. Or day. Whatever time it is for you. Have no word meeting a maiden commander in our tongue. True, all Space Marines are men. Made from that Emperor gene seed. Thank you for this honor.
Be worthy of it, and see that you do not disgrace this glorious rank.
How are you planning on getting out of here?
I have had a few thoughts on that score, but don't try to pry them out of me. When the time comes, I will share them with you.
Giant Space Marine casts you a sidelong look, grinning broadly. Wily self-satisfaction is writ large across his harsh features as he tries to hide it. Aww. My chance is 30% chance. It appears this warrior of the Emperor is blessed with brute strength, but is neither cunning nor ingenious. He is clumsily attempting to hide his total lack of strategy for escaping behind tantalizing evasions. Night 9. I only go to bed at 2. I see. Only go to bed at 2. Well, I want 30% chance to succeed. Nah. Why do you devour your enemies?
Why do you think?
Giant Space Marine grins, baring his teeth, and inquires innocently. Oh. Another. Oh, man, we're... the answer seems clear to you. The bloodthirsty warrior has simply gone mad in captivity. Come to think of it, he was probably slightly deranged even before he was taken prisoner. You have lost your mind. You're not being fed enough? That or you simply enjoy it? Is it a means of tricking your captors? Pretending to be a monster? Cast a suspicious look at Ulfar. I have some fairly grisly ideas. It means of tricking your captors?
Partly, Edfetter. It is true that I have led the puny Xenos on a false trail to dull their vigilance. But that is not the only reason. Do you know of the implant called the Omophagia? It is one of the blessings the All-Father granted to his Astartes. Nerve nodes that connect the stomach walls and the spinal cord allow me to absorb information from the genetic code of the flesh I consume. I have slain many Xenos and feasted on their flesh. My captors have watched me do it and taken glee in it, while I have been gathering information and planning my escape.
Huh. Tell me about your brothers, the Space Wolves.
Not everyone is granted the right to ask such questions. But you... I shall allow it. What do you want to know about the Astartes from the glorious Fenris?
Who are the Space Wolves?
Vilka Fenrica. That is our name in the old tongue of our world. We are the fiercest of the All-Father's warriors. His executioners. His retribution.
This good old pronouncement sounds primordial and ruthless.
Our fearless Wolf King is Laman Russ, son of the All-Father. Our world is Fenris, and our home the Fang, which rises from the world's spine into orbit. We are the thunder in the bloody storm of battle that calls to us. That is who we are.
Ulfar's rumbling voice seems to reverberate in your very bones. Glory to the wolves of Fenris. I never imagined the Emperor's angels would be such savages. You Fenrisians seem to bring wolves in everything. Glory. Smiling in satisfaction, the wolf graces you with a magnanimous nod.
But there is more to our spirit than grim destruction alone. In the Hall of Heroes, we hold feasts the likes of which you will see nowhere else. To thundering laughter, we raise our horns, tell our sagas, and honor our glorious fallen.
Hell yeah.
Though the body of an Astartes is built to be immune to the effects of drink, we invented a way around this taboo. The mead we brew can overcome even our blood. It makes us drunk, and makes our feasts jovial occasions. Mead. You can brew it nowhere else but on good old Fenris. No other world is home to such poisonous plants.
Ulfar's voice drops to a conspiratorial whisper. Fenris, what is it like?
Fenris is home. A harsh land of harsh winters and harsh people. When comes the Hell Winter, a fearsome season of frosts, the merciless world sea freezes, and great white bears, snow wyrms, and ice trolls go on the hunt. Then the murderous frost retreats, and boats of harpooners sail out to ply their craft, capturing sea snakes and krakens.
Giants gaze thaws.
And then comes the season of fire. Volcanoes awaken. Waves wash over whole islands, and only the land of Asaheim offers salvation to those whose blood and grit win them the right to live upon it. Clan fights clan. Crows circle over battlefields, and wolf howls rise up to the sky. That is my beloved home. There is no place in the universe like it.
Opar concludes wistfully. Very nice. Definitely sounds like a deaf world.
Tell me, Ed Fatter, what is the most fearsome foe on Fenris?
A wily glint appears in Ofar's eyes. Ah. That was a 68%. God, we failed that by 2. Or, no. Failed that by a lot. Fenris is known as the Death World for good reason. There must be dozens of lethal creatures that inhabit the planet, but which is more fearsome than the rest? The cold? The ocean? Humans? Wolves? Fearsome foes? Treachery? Some kind of huge monster that rules over all the others? The Lord of the Ice Trolls? Wolves?
One cannot speak of Fenris without mentioning its wolves. Wolves are fearsome, but there are no more fearsome wolves than us. The curse of the Wolfen is the most fearsome and most terrible foe on Fenris. In the heart of every brother, there lives a dark beast, bloody and forever ravenous. He
Inside
hungers
you
to
is
kill,
2 wolves.
not for glory or duty, or his battle brothers, but solely for the sake of killing. For he who falls to that dark beast, there is no joy or thrill in slaughter. There is but dull rancor.
The guttural roar of a storm rumbles in the wolf's voice. In icons I have seen, the Astartes look much less wild.
Our gene seed is unique. Lehman Ross blessed us with the Canis Helix, a genetic gift that heightens our senses, making them sharper than those of brothers from other chapters. The Canis Helix kindles a bloodthirst in our hearts and changes our appearance to resemble the lethal wolves of Fenris.
For Space Marine chapter, you're far from orthodox. That every Space Marine chapter is like wild in its own way.
The wolves do not take orders from outsiders. We keep the old ways, not the Codex Astartes. We fight in packs, and we are trained and healed by our wise rune and wolf priests. We do not find honor in adorning ourselves in laurels, but instead etch the full names of our fallen kin as a promise of vengeance, and draw strength from that promise.
What do you believe in?
We believe in the great wolves, in the deadly Blackmane and fierce Drakan the Thunderwolf, in redoubtable Hagar the Mountain Wolf, and in the Blooded Hunter. In the wolf that stalks between stars, who follows us wherever we may go. And in the uncanny two-headed Mordkai, guard of the realm of the dead. Only the great wolves show us their favor. The others are more malign, but each teaches us a lesson. For that, we praise and honor them.
That mean you don't believe in the immortal emperor of humanity as a god?
The All-Father is not a god. He is the best of all humans, our perfect forebear. His blood flowed through the veins of Lehman Ross, and Ross's blood flows in me. Does that make me a god? My respect for him has no end, and I am ready to die for him. But what place does faith have here? Is the All-Father like the massive iron wolf, whose every tuft of fur forms a mountain on the surface of Fenris? Or is he as enormous as the Sun Wolf, which rises to hunt every morning and fills our world with light? The All-Father is not a god, but the highest of humanity. Ordinary humans struggle to grasp this. But we, his warriors and offspring, remember the truth.
Fucking heresy right here. But the fact that it was spoken by one of the Emperor's angels means that it's not heresy. Well, I believe that the Emperor is the god of humanity and our guardian. You speak blasphemy. What a primitive, barbarous religion. Oh. I also believe that the Emperor is a man and not a god. A different faith, but the same idiocy. I see. No comment. I see. Don't tell Argenta this, but I kinda also believe that the Emperor is a man and not a god. Like, also really don't tell Heinrich this. If you ever meet him. Just don't.
It makes his deeds all the more glorious. Battling gods is child's play when you yourself are a god. But if you are a man... now, that is the stuff that sagas are made of.
Hell yeah, brother. What else do your wise priests do?
Lacan the Ruined Wolf once shared the mysteries of the healing potions and the secrets of magic sagas. He taught them to see the past and future in thrown runes, to call down storms, and to carve powerful talismans.
I actually succeeded a test. Oh shit. You suddenly feel a whisper of something menacing radiating from Ulfar. A necklace of various formidable-looking teeth hangs around his neck, and the teeth are carved with intricate wounds. Is that a powerful charm?
The All-Father gifted you with strong intuition. This was made by Skjati Twice-Thinker. The spirits liked him, and one could feast a whole long-held winter night to the words of his saga. So keen was his mind. He was my friend.
Ulfar's face, lit a moment ago with ruthless pride, seems to darken as if a shadow passed across it. Notice she used was. For the full names they give you strength? What's your name in that case?
Ulfar Redmane. That is what my brothers call me.
For a moment silent, Ulfar replies. I'm failing so many checks. The primitive culture of Fenris could well have bestowed such a simple and banal name upon Ulfar. There is something to wonder at here. All you feel is pity for the space wolf. Understand.
Do you? And there I was, about to round off my story with a short 400-verse saga about the gifts of Lacan the Ruined Wolf.
I mean, you could still do that, but, like, we're kind of busy. We got, like, an arena fight to do. You can do that while fighting. My curiosity has been satisfied.
Should what I told you reach other ears, I shall take your tongue.
Ulfar leans towards you, and with a friendly, only slightly feral grin, says that. Let's take my leave.
Fenris, you...
Alright. I failed so many skill checks during that. I'm gonna save scum. What was that? Like 3 skill checks? It was like what? Perception, Medicae, or not Medicae, Lore Imperium. Or like straight up outside. I didn't realize I had quick saved that far back. Wasn't really that far back. As I now check to see if I have anything that can increase my perception is 5. Lore Imperium, I just have a good chance at. Either way, if any of these increase perception. Armor of the Undaunted. Even if it does, probably wouldn't. Yeah. Okay. Tech use. Tech use. Warp. Rain. These might give awareness. Not it. Logic. Only we could give him a -10 to perception. And +3 bonus. Yeah, no, don't. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing we can do. Just random chance. Let's go.
Let us raise up. This is the... You, of course, are a maiden, not a father. Be worthy of it.
We failed again. To be honest, I have yet to understand how these skill checks work. Am I supposed to roll under 30?
Why do you...
Oh, there was a Medicaid test.
But I have slept not will our fearless, but though the fen and the tell me.
There. Some kind of huge monster that rules over all the others. Lord of...
One, the curse. Our genes see. The wolves do not take o. We believe in the great the Alpha. Or is he as enormous as the Sun Wolf? It makes his Lacan. All-Father, Ulfar. Do you? Should what I told you, Fenris? Let us this. You, of course, be worthy of. Why do...
Oh shit. The Almaphagia is clearly involved here. The genetic gift granted by these to these stories by the Emperor. This organ links the brain and stomach of a space marine, allowing him to absorb information from the genetic code of any flesh he consumes. Has to do with the Almaphagia, yes?
You are very well informed. Far more than a common mortal ought to be. Yes, it is true that I have gorged on the flesh of my enemies to reap the secrets from the steaming flavor of their meat. I have slain many Xenos and feasted on their flesh. My captors have watched me do it. Not Vilka, our feet. But, though the body of Fen and tell me, the curse, our genes.
You know that these are of, like, no consequence.
We, but the Alpha, or is he as enormous as the sun? It makes him Lacan.
No. Failed that one this time.
Ulfa.
Still failed that one though.
Do you? Should what I Fenris you?
Reload one last time. And then just whatever roles we're gonna stick with. Burst attacks are harder to dodge. What? Really?
Let us raise our this you of be what why do I have slain not every our fear, but though the body of an Astartes is built to be
oh shit. You mentally go through the list of the deadliest creatures on Fenris, but your thoughts seem to settle on one strange name. Wrath Badger? You have read about this animal, a small and ferocious creature about which very little is known. Oh no. Oh no. The Wrath Badger.
No, you are... What? Why the Wrath Badger?
Little is known about it. That means hunters fear to encounter it, and it is the most dangerous.
Very good. I hope to tell you about the black curse of the Wolfen, but your answer wasn't bad either. Wrath Badger.
That one was worth it. All the save scum was worth it for that. For the Wrath Badger. The giant warrior's chuckle slams into your chest like a strike from a sonic weapon. I still wish to hear about the curse of the Wolfen.
The curse of the Wolfen is the most fearsome and most terrible foe on Fenris. In the heart of every brother, there lives a dark being. beast. Our gene
Side of
seed
every
is unique.
space wolf marine
Raven
live
Ross
2
blessed
wolves.
us with the Canis healing. The wolf, the
What?
car, Ulfar.
Oh shit. Given the warrior's boastful nature, the indifference with which he revealed his name is surprising. Seems he does not trust you enough to disclose his true name.
The All-Father gifted you with strong intuition. We believe. The All-Father, or is he as enormous as the Sun Wolf? It makes it. Do you? Should what I told you, Fenris?
Quick save. I got most of those succeeded that time around.
Let us raise.
Alright, how did you end up
What
here?
do you want to know? What brought the Space Wolves to the Expanse? Or how I ended up in the non-human's Dark City?
Why did you come to the Coronis Expanse?
An Inquisitor by the name of Calcazar put out a call for aid. My Wolf Lord did not refuse him, and had 2 packs deployed to the Expanse. We never trusted this ally, but a blood debt for a service rendered in the past forced our hand.
Though it wields immense power when it comes to the Astartes, even the Inquisition chooses to make requests rather than commands. The Space Wolves are not known for being close allies of the Inquisition. How strange, then, that the chapter sent not 1 but 2 squadrons in response to this request, when 1 squad alone is capable of crushing a planetary uprising. 2 packs, just like that? Space Wolves must have taken his request seriously.
Insightful. We'd had no dealings with this Calcazar before this, and we did not trust him. 2 packs meant twice as many eyes to watch out for his games and schemes. And then...
You receive a wolfish grin in response.
The Coronis Expanse is a wild hunting ground teeming with prey. And the Space Wolves will be the first to turn its snow scarlet. The Jarl decided to send the most indomitable hunters who hunger for honor and bloodshed. 1 pack would have fulfilled its duty for the sake of pride, but 2 would seek to outdo each other for the sake of glory.
What debt did you owe the Inquisitor?
He saved our brother who had lost the pack and was unable to look after himself or the chapter's honor. Calcazar returned our brother to Fenris and kept secret the misfortune that had befallen him. The Jarl knew that the Inquisitor's actions were driven by opportunism, and the desire to have us mighty warriors in his debt. But honor forced him to be hospitable to the stranger, and swear an oath of friendship.
See? Ulfar's voice turns cagey. Why did the Space Wolves not trust the Lord Inquisitor?
The Inquisition. Pah! Rats scurrying around the All-Father's house and ruling it in the Master's absence. Cowards they are. The last into battle, but the first on any war council. We saw what they were worth in the months of shame.
Ulfar nearly spits out his words. Months of shame. You've never heard of the Months of Shame. It is probably something from Fenrisian history. What are the Months of Shame?
An ancient strife. If you do not know of it, then you are not supposed to know.
Ulfar replies evasively. His ideas above his stations. He dared to speak to me without proper respect. I don't trust Calcazar. He is suspicious.
We also decided to be cautious. His words flowed like honey, and he seemed an honorable man. But Lies always look like truth, don't they? That arrogant chief thought he could give us orders. But we wolves have always followed our own instincts and hunted in our own way. I wager that boiled his blood.
The red-haired space wolf chuckles smugly. What do you know of Xavier Calcazar's plans and objectives?
In warm furs, the old man does shroud his body. In cloaks of secrets woven, shrouds the sly man his plans. To know his dire purpose, swallow not the words of poison, but his gristle.
Did you end up a captive?
We had gone on a raid for Xenos prisoners and fell into a trap. We had no war machines to support us, and some of our squad were wounded. So we were forced to retreat. I ordered my battle brothers to leave, but I remained behind to meet our guests. I do not know how many of the feeble wretches I slew, but I would have killed even more had their towering piles of bodies not hindered me in combat.
Fuck 'em up.
They wounded me and captured me. They froze the joints in my armor. When they dragged me to their ship, two of my battle brothers descended up the Xenos and tried to free me. An insane plan, but it almost succeeded. Almost. And so there were 3 of us taken captive. And then there were 2. And then I was alone once again.
He heaves a sigh and it comes out like a growl. Grimace of pain is fixed on Ulfar's face, which is shadowed with grief. What happened to the other 2?
They fell. With honor.
Ulfar says with grim curtness. Fallen brothers, who were they?
Their saga is one I will not sing to you. You have spilled no blood with them, nor shared with them meat unmewed. Their spirits might be outraged if they knew I had sung of their deeds to a stranger.
Ulfar lets out a sullen growl and pins you with an icy glance that sparks something within you. Awareness of the monstrous chasm separating you and the ancient superhuman standing opposite. Sorry, they died.
Yes, so am I.
Tell me about your time in Komarak.
These are dark days you are asking about, Ed Fatter. Let my keen-edged friend be a witness to the ferocity of my words.
Ulfar lets out a rumbling sigh, drawing out the rune-covered knife that you saw him carry in the Dark City, and begins to spin it between his fingers, finding his equilibrium again.
I was given to Tarvantius for his amusement. In the arenas of Camorra, Astartes are a rarity. And he sent me out there to kill gladiators. Living as an inglorious butcher and a Xenos' puppet, I hated it. Constantly. Every moment. I had to take care of my mind before it was twisted to the 7 hells.
With every word, the bitterness and hostility in Ulfar's voice grows. After roaring and raging in Fenrisian for a time, Ulfar catches his breath.
Every morning I made entreaties to the All-Father, and every night I appealed to Russ. I trained my body, read the litanies, and in the darkest moments, I recited my own saga. I recalled every battle, every wound, every brother. And that is how I survived. I always survive.
The red-haired space wolf fixes you with a fierce glower and then turns away. See.
This was a bleak saga, Edvator. Fenris,
Others? Another quick save before we go into...
let us raise our cups, Edvator, in honor of deeds accomplished and in expectation of those yet to come.
Answer a few questions about yourself.
Instinct bids me to remain silent. Such knowledge is not to be shared with just anyone. Only those who possess my complete trust.
Before sucks in a breath, tasting your scent. Alright.
Fenris,
Fair enough. So, buddy, what's your reaction to me bringing in a fucking space marine? Why did you decide to masquerade as a commissar? Well, first off, because it's ironic. And besides, it's a handy disguise. No one ever looks at the commissar's face. They look at his cap, his coat, his belt. Plus, simpletons like my former fellow guardsmen think a commissar can't lie. Idiots. The commissar always lies. Praise the Emperor. Okay. Oakley dokley.
In this tapestry of a world, I am the rogue thread. What lies beyond?
A chasm. Which quoted a lesson by killing several of their fighters in the arena.
Patience? My nerves are frayed.
Alright. Now just discuss what you expect of me. Cervantes pauses before responding, as if dissecting your question inside his head. Ask, what is your quarrel with the witches? Lately, they have shown arrogance and disrespect towards me. They want to rise in the eyes of the Archon and belittle me. They rank their tasteless flesh dances above my art. They come to my abode and gawk at my treasured secrets. It is time the chasm was reminded that witches too can bleed. Tell me more about the arena. Witches rule the arenas. This is the way of the spires. They are lethal, brides of our dead gods. When they enter the arena, the crowd writhes with ecstasy, but this is a rare sight. Typically, their fosterlings, the blood-stained proselytes, oversee the butchery. These are the best killers and athletes who serve the cult. Such arrogant upstarts. They have been undefeated for far too long. When Sinathoria reigned over the cult of the Fatal Thirst, the proselytes behaved with more respect, but the senior succubus has since withdrawn into the shadows. Now Kikeros reigns in the arena, and Tazara leads the raids. An insolent hag and a presumptuous non-entity, a perfect match. As soon Tazara drew her final breath, Kikeros' ambitions doubled. She became utterly insufferable. Last time I was in the arena, I saw Merazai. What was he doing there? Your light gives you a concerned look. Your memory must have been weakened by the delirious influence of the controlling worm. The Archon's court condemned him. That brazen, ambitious, and woefully imprudent whelp. He was cast down from the Dracons of the Cabal, but earned the good graces of the Witches of the Fatal Thirst in his very first fight in the arena. He was invited to join their finest, the blood-stained proselytes. Some say he was involved in the death of their succubus, Tazara. If so, then Merazai may be disappointed by his reception in the ranks of the cult. What is your connection to the arena of the Fatal Thirst? My servants harvest meat in the chasm and delivers it to their bloody performances. I improve it with augments and stimulants to make it interesting enough so the witches will enjoy killing it. Sometimes I indulge them with little treats, biomachines or beasts molded by my surgical genius. You must be the most powerful Drakari in the chasm. The homunculus smirks. Not just the chasm. The entire cabal of the Reaving Tempest depends on my augments and essences, which is how I secured the chasm as my domain. Here I never lack for subjects or spare parts. I see. Okay. I thought that was going to lead to us going to the arena, but I guess not.
One step at a time.
We have to actually
That's the
physically
madness.
walk there. Gross. I know he has a healing option. Let's see if I can... Okay.
Curiosity sings in my veins.
Okay. We're gonna end it. And end the stream. But I'm just gonna get right in front of the arena. The arena gates. Oh. Well. Stream just gets delayed. If thou seest a flaw in me, smite me. Argenta's hoarse whispers are nothing like the usual clear, almost mellifluous voice that she uses for prayer. Smite me. What the fuck does mellifluous mean? Mellifluous.
Mellifluous.
Sweet or musical, pleasant to hear. Okay. She looks up at you. Her dark eyes gleam anxiously. Rogue Trader, you find me at prayer. Darkness surrounds us, and we will require all the spiritual fortitude our ragged hearts can muster. Are you distraught because of Vigastus's fate and the death of those betrayed by the Commissar? Argenta hangs her head. Yes, I am. I was the one who found those people. I brought them to the Commissar. I prayed for them and I gave them hope, and he sent them to an abattoir to die for those monsters' amusements. They might have, in their final moments, they might have thought that I, too, had betrayed them. I once more failed to see wickedness where I should have seen it. I failed those people, loyal and brave. But it is not only that. I thought, naively, that faith and perseverance had helped me, cut through the schemes of the foul Xenos, that we were on the path to freedom. In truth, though, it was all just another part of the act, and the vile monsters must have been cackling with glee as they observed my foolishness. Remain steadfast. We'll break free from this darkness. Thank you for your words of solace, Rogue Trader. Argenta pauses, contemplating something. A shadow crosses her face, followed by a flash of unreadable emotion. Tell me, Rogue Trader, do you trust me? Please look into your heart and tell me what you see. Trust you with my life. I do. You are a faithful ally. There is no one I trust completely. It is one of the principles I swear by. No, I cannot rely on you. I do. You are a faithful ally. But what if I am undeserving of your trust? Rogue Trader, to lose hope is to err in the eyes of the Emperor, and I am drawing closer to erring than ever before. The darkness all around me thickens, and the clutches of our captors are strong. If I am to give myself fully to the battle ahead, I will need all my strength, and to summon such strength, I must purge my soul. Tell me, will you hear my confession? Of course. I killed Theodora von Valancius. What? Who done it? You discovered the truth about Theodora's death. Just got a bleep bloop. Oh, Abelard. It's a good thing we don't have a Dira with us. What? Irlite raises her head slightly and looks around, clearly not fully understanding what is wrong, but sensing the shift in the mood around her. Yes, it was me. Not your treacherous kin, Voigtfir, not the cultists. Me. She speaks with a strange blend of pride and horror in her voice. I remember every last detail. The ship was under attack. I grabbed my weapon and ran to her side because I thought it was my duty to protect the Emperor's chosen. And what did I witness when I burst into her study? Theodora von Valancius, a rogue trader, holding a sinister sorceress artifact radiating with profane light. It was a lens like the ones we saw in the Rykad system, except it was smaller and far more potent. I instantly knew it to be a weapon of the archenemy. I had seen objects like it before, on Salus Prime, the planet where I had sought the sacred relic, and where I had nearly died at the hands of cultists. So many things were made clear to me in that moment. So piercing was the revelation, so obvious the answer to how those heretics had found their way to a planet known to none but those of House von Valancius. I fired before I could even fully comprehend what I was seeing. Hera's light must have guided my hand, for one shot was all it took. The bolt her discharge destroyed both the archenemy's artifact and its owner's black heart, but... I I do not regret killing her, nor do I regret it now. Theodora had succumbed to the archenemy and its dark sorcery. The entire attack on the ship was merely the result of her and Voitvir feuding over their spoils. I had realized it in my heart the moment I saw the artifact in her hand. But standing in that same room with the honorable arch-militant, a devout servant of the Emperor, and the reason I had made it off Salus Prime after the Cortes attack, when he saw me firing at Theodora, he instinctively rushed to protect her. I killed him too. Argenta lowers her gaze for a moment. You remember the orphans I once asked you to meet with, Rogue Trader? One of the boys was the son of the man I killed. My whole life I had sworn I would not allow villains to orphan children of the Imperium, and then I did so myself. Lady Theodora, Mort, fell at the hand of the one meant to protect the servants of the God Emperor. I never doubted the security of the von Valancius bloodline when you were close, but now the very foundations on which the power of the Rogue Traders rests seem to have been violated. Abelard looks at Argenta with a visceral loathing in her eyes, uncovered by either courtesy or respect. Argenta looks at you anxiously, waiting for your reaction. Kept a secret all this time? You at least regret doing what you did? Your hands would not be covered in the blood of innocence, had you not acted on impulse. You have told me the truth. See no reason to condemn you. Theodora deserved to die for her treachery. As for any other victims, it was acceptable collateral damage. What's done is done. I hope you will learn from this. Right now, we need to think of a way to escape. You murdered my kin and hid the truth from me. That is unforgivable. You kept this secret all this time. I did, and I despised myself for doing so. Sisters of Battle are taught to laugh in the face of lies and intrigue, but instead I feared that I would face immediate execution for the murder of the Rogue Trader. I hoped that people would think it was Voitvir or the cultists who killed her, and I was right. But that lie, it burned in my throat. And here, in this horrific reality away from Terra's light, I realized that I could keep my silence no longer. You at least regret doing what you did? Your hands would not be covered in the blood of innocence had you not acted on impulse. I regret the deaths of innocents every waking moment. But how could I avert my eyes from heresy? That goes against my very nature. I'm glad I have revealed the truth to you, Rogue Trader. This dishonesty has been driving me out of my mind. Okay. Huh. I mean, we knew Voitvir didn't do it, because he seemed surprised by her death when we told him. So someone did it. Makes sense. Boop. I landed here. Though, on that note,